This episode was recorded on February 14th, 2021. That's right, I said 2021, over a year ago, like a year and a half ago. Get in, loser, we're going time traveling. Mayberry, okay. We are about to do a time jump back to a conversation that I had with a good friend of mine, Ellauri. C's a really interesting character beyond having a really unique kind of last name. Now, what C does is he hosts Vibes. He's great at it. I used to be a regular at his open mic when we were both living in Marin. You can find C on blessedup.com, where he is hosting Flow State Vibes. It'll come up a few times, but if you want to connect with C and find out what he's hosting these days, go to blessedup.com. That is his brand. That is what he does. There's a couple of parts of this episode that I really enjoy a lot. We get into the honor and blessing of holding equitable space in complex community dynamics, which is something that C and I immediately related to each other about when we met. The second thing, these are both my favorite parts of the conversation. C and I get into it about chaos and order. I personally do not see order and chaos as oppositional or antithetical to each other. I see them as something that acts in concert, theoretically in conflict or whatever, to create the result that it has. So we get into that a few different ways. And heck, if we didn't really kind of dig into some cool shit talking about it. Now, Mayberry, before a time travel expedition, we have got to go over some things and make sure that everybody knows where we're at. We all got to be on the same page. Like I mentioned, this was recorded on February 14th, 2021. That is correct, 2021. Today is July whatever in 2022, or whenever you are listening to this episode after July whatever 2022. Back to the literal goofiest month in the apocalypse so far, February 2021. Do y'all remember that? It was the month after Blue MAGA came and replaced the Red MAGA, quote unquote replaced. And the beginning of the end of me being able to hear about the date January 6th. Now, Mayberry, I edited most of this episode over a year ago, and in the upheaval of trying to hold my life together while a bigot boomer, Trump-thumping Trustafarian with profoundly arrested development and 3 neoliberal white women who were all claiming to be my allies ruined my life. They destroyed it. In that process, I lost access to the editing software that I was using, and it just ultimately ended up becoming cheaper to start over with everything than to pay to recover the license to get this episode out. It's a pain in the butt. So I am really grateful for financial producers who help support the work I'm doing. I'm into it. And you can be one of them. For as little as $3 a month, you can come onto our Patreon, and people act like, oh, it's only $3. It's not going to make or break things. It actually really does. Every single episode, I get more followers, more co-producers. I consider y'all, because if you're helping me pay the bills, then you're supporting the show. You're a fucking producer. You know, it really it matters. Even just the wind in my sails of knowing somebody took the time to engage like that. But it actually does help uplift the show on a material level too. Anyway, back on point. Eventually, I will get what I need to recover the license. So for now, in the meantime, I'm using Reaper to edit. It's been a slight bit of a learning curve, but seriously, shout out, uplifting Reaper. Thank you for having reasonable terms. So this episode, like I was saying, it was recorded a few months before my life was shattered in a super funky way again, which I mentioned actually in the episode that I had been like, oh, I'm doing well right now. Everything had to fall apart so it could come together. And then it happened a whole other world. It was like I'd experienced earthquakes and famines and floods, and then suddenly an asteroid came and knocked my world into space dust, like, after this episode. So I'm not going to get into any of that now, but I really was faced with the choice to rebuild or give up, and all I really want to note is that it happened, and where we are in the timeline of that, because it's going to become relevant later as we sail around through time and space together, touching down on these conversations that I was blessed to capture through the last couple of years in the upcoming episodes. So, dropping into the convo vibe, C is, towards the beginning of the episode, offering us some ASMR to complement the discourse about how we sometimes are not seeing the same thing when looking at the same thing. And this, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It was February 2021, the day that the DNC window dressing show of Trump's impeachment ended. Now, I was not engaging with this bullshit. I was not looking at it. I was actively shunning statist politics, and I describe my process in the episode. But I did allow guests to come onto my show and discuss statist political topics here. From there, we get to go a bunch of other places. So here goes. Hold on to your tinfoil hats, bitches. We ride.
It's looking good. It's good. My headphones are pretty loud. So
okay. Yeah, your bars are now seeming. I'm looking at it now. We're seeing the same thing, right? We're seeing the screen.
Yeah, it actually shows different data. I discovered I had a session with 3 people, and we all 3 took screenshots and sent our screenshots to the most knowledgeable sound engineer, and he was looking at them, and he was like, "These are all different. What am I looking at here?" Like I'm not sure what their deal is exactly.
Okay. Well, what's up, Chef?
What is up?
What is up? What is time? What is space?
That's the question all the time.
Dang. Yo, for real. It's like it's mad beautiful, and who knows? And I love and I grow. I mean, honestly, you heard the big impeachment news today.
I didn't actually. I have been firmly, I have my face planted in my unicorn coloring books. I don't believe in statist politics the way that Christians don't believe in astrology anymore. They're like, no, it's of the devil, and they keep their children away from it. It's just like shunned altogether. So I have almost no idea what's going on with anything. And in fact, I don't even believe in America at this point in my life. I don't believe in any of it. But feel free. I'm down. I'm always down for people to come and bring me content I'm hiding from on the show. This is the place to do it.
Well, they have not impeached. They did not have the 2/3 needed in the Senate. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear.
To impeach. So
I'm shocked.
No impeachment. I know. I was so excited to have a real impeachment. I was like, ooh, finally. Like, we've been through the Bill Clinton was impeached, but he never, I was hoping that one person, in our lifetime actually gets, the rumpus boot.
I mean, we've got time. There's 2 war criminals in office right now. Don't worry about it. We got time for maybe. If there's a God in heaven, it'll be Harris. As far as I'm concerned, Harris will be the first impeached, White House, whatever. I got thoughts. I got a whole bunch of thoughts. I do.
Trust me, that would be great. But America has not caught up to your political savvy, my friend. It's the fact that we've had to deal with Trump. It just tells you how far behind the acumen is. It's not even, you can't swim in the big pool. You know what I'm saying? You guys have to stay there in the baby pool and sort of fester around with the poop, and you're just trying to get the kids to not throw the poop at each other. You know what I mean? You're still swimming in it, but it's just don't throw the poop.
They're taking up so much damn space, man. They're taking up a lot of space. In the real world, that's the metaphor. In the real world on Earth, on the surface of the planet, they're just consuming a lot of space. Not just with their bodies, with industrial damage everywhere, in our spirits, in the land's spirits, in the history of the thing. They won't even tell us the real stories of what they've done. They won't even in the microcosms. I'm literally dealing with problems right now where I'm y'all can't even just admit that you're weak. You can't just be we fucked you up because we can't handle it. You gotta gaslight me. Yeah. You gotta criminalize me. You gotta put me in a position where it's you're justifying your behavior because I was morally depraved in some fashion, and in reality it's doubling down on moral depravity. And how can we live with this type of inertia, this type of momentum energetically? Oh man, I'm so busy like in spiritual warfare because I'm hell bent on quelling the culture war. I will not sit by and be like, I can't do anything about this. I can do things. There's things I can do. I can't do everything. I can't fix all of it fast, but I can do things.
Good. No, empower anything, like
driving me.
Everything is here to
forward,
empower you.
Like, yeah.
Everything. And so that's like on the spiritual level, right? That's like in a way that is saying, all right, everything is energy. I'm going to put my energy where I want it to be. I'm going to take in my reactions through a flow that's going to, allow me to, kung fu it, bring it in, bring it out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like at the end of the day, like the being able to thank the people who have hurt you the most for being for showing you how to change, for showing you, your lessons. Like that is, to get to that level and to feel that in your heart. I mean, that is the gift, and holding that space is always going to be a polarity, and so we hold our polarities, and, you just hope that you resonate in such a way that people can hear you or feel you and understand. And then, and then hopefully I can like continue to evolve, but and that's for me, like right now, I mean, what I'm doing right now is like, I'm playing work at a spot where I take orders from people 20 years younger than me, and they're all like moving twice as fast as I am. And I'm just there hustling, trying to make sandwiches for people from 8 to 5. You know what I'm saying? And so it's work. And at the same time, it's like, when is my spiritual inertia not being tangled up in every single moment, in every single person? It's like this time has been a time of grounding so hard. I had the tea house, right? Then just open mic, then no open mic, then this whole experience. And it's just, everything has just continued to like pull back the reins to the point where it's like meditation, like the true inner voice, the movement of that, the being in the trees, the reacting, the hands on the ground, the grieving, like truly bringing in, new forces to react to, which are kind of more infinite energies that will be here, as is my own, but like truly, in its own way that I'm still trying to understand. So this has been a process of that unveiling and of that listening. And, it's like, bless it up. I'm thankful for the journey so far, but I think I've been so stoked for like my, ability to like sort of make rhymes and be loud and welcome people and be friendly and all this stuff, and it's just like, all right, like welcome in what is underneath, welcome in shadow, welcome in pain, welcome in grief, welcome in, like the parts of me that are judging, the parts of me that need respect so bad or attention so much, because what do I not give attention? What do I not respect? And it's just, always peeling back. And, part of that too, during this journey has been the open veins of Latin America, and coming from a land that has been completely squelched of its, native wisdom, and coming from a family line that has no connection to anything like that. And, it all started here, when my parents as immigrants moved here. And then before then, there was no history. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, the only real history is that like, okay, our grandparents loved us. And, what's the culture? Like, where are we? Like in the story, it's just like the story it's just not there, And I think that's like this great devastating loss of like extermination of everything in Latin America, It's not even America. It's not even its own thing. It's sub-America. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Latin America. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mesoamerica was a land of great peoples, you know, sun gods. I mean, like, and to talk of that timeline and where that timeline would be today. I mean, you want to talk about living in a land of rainbows and unicorns. When I do that, I imagine that time, and I imagine my connection to those people, and that this deep spirit flourishes still in me. And, you know, and then when I do that, man, I just really start to, like, you know, like that's one thing when I do Bless It Up, like have you heard the Bless It Up thing that I do?
Of course, baby. Yeah.
So,
I was in your scene for like over 2 years. I think it was 2017 through 2019-ish.
Yeah. So Bless It Up is the time when I can really feel like bringing those lessons into the mic and into the space where it's like, you know, here we go. And like, this is going to be the externalizing, like, communicative part of this to the outside and to, but it's like, it's all a shamanistic journey. It's all like a journey down, you know, this great portal that we're in right now. And, you know, honestly, of course, like, I look around and I do not like the momentum of things in general, you know, and I think it's, you know, to talk about how we were starting out, it's like, you know, we're talking about, you know, being in a time when people just continue to isolate and like everything that we do and we have, it just continues to be just, oh, this is mine. Oh, this is me. Oh, that's not me. And it's continuously, everything is like making more lines in the sand, more divisions. It's like in one side, it's like, it's kind of beautiful because you kind of completely isolate yourself. And then who knows, boom, right? A great opening happens, and there's a great revealing and a great letting go, and it's like those greater forces, you know. But at the same time, it's like when we can react to each other, when we can listen to each other, when I can, like, you know, feel the suppleness of how I feel about your cheek, about those eyes, about the way you move, about getting down with it, about love, life, and existence, about debating, interacting, about anything you say is valid, about coming through and forward. You know, like, that to dance is why it's the great thing of life is, you know, why life is happening right now. It's this whole universe taking a chance on things being a bit more erratic than like stones flying across the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's just like life, you know, life is jazz, you know?
Yeah. There's shit growing on those stones. Yeah,
exactly. Right. I read that the other day. It's like all the stones, all the things in life, these are particles, all the pieces of us, all the minerals, and those things are fixed. They are in a spot and they're not going nowhere. But life, like, everything is in movement. And it's like, sure, on a quantum level, you could say, oh, the shit's actually moving and gravity's happening, and that's true. But, like, honestly, like, life is the state of things losing their fixed state and going into motion. So
it's chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's been a lot of negotiation on this show. Different people with different like their initial delivery of the concept of chaos is usually something to do with strife or something. That it's like they'll do something that I have to call a flag on. I'm like, we got to time out. Hold up. I got to referee this moment. We got to define things and like break this down and we're going to step it back. Because I think it's really important to value what chaos really genuinely is in the order of things.
What is chaos in your order of things?
It's just living. It's just life. It's that great organizing dynamic definition of God.
And yet there is no organization at all in chaos, which is the meaning of it.
I mean, sort of. Sacred geometry just shows up in flowers growing all the time. I watch it every day. Like,
but that's not chaos, right? I mean, if you take that flower and you rip it up, then it is no longer a flower, right? It loses that symmetry. I mean, sure, you could look under a microscope.
I was just about to shrink down. I have a concept on the show. We're on the Revolution ship right now, and we can time travel and shape shift and get real tiny and go inside things and look at like the nuanced details of the tapestry of what makes up all the everythings. Like we can get really big and aerial and hover and stuff, whatever we want to do with the concept. So at that point, I'm definitely like, it's turning back into life like right away. Like there's never a point where it's not living and feeding something else, unless it's like really killed, which is that's order. That's painful order. That's like society building weapons and destruction. Like there's very few things in nature that actually destroy life all the way through and through it.
No, I mean, that's what you don't want. Avoid that.
Yeah, in my opinion, it seems to be that order is what is causing the strife that people seem to keep describing as chaos. It's order trying to force its hand over chaos, when chaos is just casually rolling along and doing its thing and falling into shape and out of shape and doing what it does as we do. Like
doing what it does as we do, as you do what it does, as you do what it is, as it is what it is, what you do. But what you is what you does, and what you does is what you doing. So as long as you doing what you does, keep doing. But if it do you, then is it you? Are you the does and the do? Are we the do does? Is this the do? What are we doing?
Oh my God, we're definitely the do does.
Oh,
for sure. I don't know a lot of things, but I do know that we are the do does.
I mean, honestly, the lucid dream, the chaos, the falling free, like the Dionysian, like these are places of, the thing about it is how quickly, how easily, how much do you want to die, to lose what you think you are and become the next thing, the next thing that you see, the next thing that you are. And because that can be very painful, I mean,
you're talking about phoenixing. I call it phoenixing.
I mean, if we're talking about it, then what else is there? I mean, really, it's like when we're talking about psychedelics, when we're talking about sacred geometry, we're talking about chaos. And of course, like, systems of order that come in that suck, are going to suck. Like you don't want to, like living in a house or a room. If you look around at the room, there's these walls. Now, if these walls, instead of confronting and being right in your face the way they are when you look at a wall, if they were curved, all right, if they were like the shape of a tree, like more curvy, more rounded, it would change how you feel. So it's like we have different things in our lives that come and they put order on our lives, and it's great. Oh, I have a roof. That's helpful. At a certain point, you're like, if it's freaking raining, it'd be nice to have the roof. I don't care if it's a right angle. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there is a cost. So it's like on one hand, we've been trying to, as a culture, as a species, like provide for more people and provide for people, but we're doing it in this particular way, which isn't in hand to hand with life.
Well, and one thing that I always appreciated about your scene is that you had a very deeply integrated community where like the having of a room and those walls that are, you're on the inside of, we had a lot of people in the community. I had formerly been, I was no longer homeless by the time I met you, but I was for a really, really long time. And it was really homey to have the vibe be the way it was, with just kind of a very mixed. It was like every type of person besides the people that wouldn't be around reality, I guess, came through your scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of,
right?
Yeah. There was a lot of really cool like ministry that I got to do there because of that. Like just, negotiating the ways that different bridges connect. Like sometimes people need help getting scaffolding in place or figuring out how to adapt their little, side to another side or something that they're interested in but not used to. There was a lot of opportunity to facilitate little moments like that very briefly and then just casually move on with my night and play some music and do some dishes and drink a cava or whatever, yeah.
That's what's up. What's up. I mean, there's fewer, more beautiful things in this world than to be surrounded by people, being creative, eating good food, and having a diverse community. You know what I'm saying? And ready access to ganja, of course.
Yeah, always. And those when I think back on that kind of period, if I'm going to consider the concepts of order and chaos, it was like both and constantly in just the right amounts for me. Just the perfect amounts for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's honestly, and I feel that, plant medicine has been a big part of the journey, and that I find that honestly anchoring me now. Like I'll do ganja like once every other day here at night, and it really just boom. If I need to like open up to another sphere, it helps me to do that. And like that community, it's for me. And we talk about just living in reality. Living in reality means having a community. Living in reality means seeing a diverse group of people every day, but seeing some of them, on a consistent basis and making friends and having, having a community, and it's just in that it's just so much more of a healthy scene that, you don't need a lot of, certain other things, it's just such a gift to be able to have that. And honestly, I didn't know about that until I lived on Oahu. And living on Oahu is when I was first sort of part of that. And actually even before then, there was this hip hop theater festival in DC. And it was right after it was like in 2002. And I had just finished my undergrad. I went to Syracuse for acting. So I came out and I was like, staying with my folks in DC, and I was like, heard about this festival. So I went, and we had a whole theater where everyone was mostly young and black, and just like the whole place was filled up. And we had, like people spitting theater on stage and everyone hollering and being loud. And it was so much love and high artistry at the same time. I was like, man, I mean, you want to talk about a community. Obviously, there was a community there that I was just barely seeing and maybe had just come together for that night. But on top of that, there was this art flowing on it that was like truly excellent. And it's just like, dang, like, that's it. Like, that's take me to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like always, and then adding for me, the next layer to that is like the plant medicine, the good food, you know what I mean? Like good things that like will help you to like imbibe the vibe, because, at the end of the day, it's like, just like I'm saying, it's like, I would rather my walls be curved. I would rather my drinks be organic. I would rather my foods be local, and because everything, when I'm talking about curves, when I'm talking about local, when I'm talking about food, when I'm talking about community, everything comes back to listening, living, remembering, feeling, touching, acknowledging the earth, the land, the mother, the connecting partner in our lives that we have lost because of some forgetting. It's almost like we went down the street and we slipped on a rock and we forgot that we were ever part of this. And that is the remembering that is so, it it feels so good. And if there's a lot of sadness in it too, but like, it's good sadness. It's just also like the sadness that, you know, for me that I feel anyway. And it's just like letting it out, letting it through, like letting it be, and acknowledging the pieces that aren't there, acknowledging the pieces that are not whole, you know, and giving thanks that I can get to the point where I can freaking ruminate about this shit in my life, because, you know, some people are just hustling so hard they don't even have a chance to freaking step back and do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So yeah, all those gifts, you know, all those gifts, and like, and the responsibility of that, which is to be part of that movement, for me to come back to, man, at least going deeper with it. You know what I'm saying? Going deeper with it.
Yeah. I mean, we're all doing our different types of alchemy. I've been finding myself in this like weird place where most of my socialization, interaction, just anything I'm doing with peopling, a majority of it is through like the internet, some kind of device, like remote distance kinds of relationships. And a lot of them are initiated that way and remain that way and will remain that way. You know, at least in this chapter life kind of thing, you know, until I phoenix again and have a whole other, what do I want to call it? I don't know.
Biosphere.
Yeah, well, no, not quite.
Another fish tank.
Yeah, but not that. Yeah, not that quite exactly. Yeah, the fish tank more than that. More like my spiritual armor, my socioeconomic spiritual armor, if you will. My socioeconomic vehicle, whatever I'm driving through. Yeah, be phoenixing and leveling up some of those. In the near future, there's some cool things lining up.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing like a, you know, like a tarot thing, like a Pilgrim's Progress thing, like a homeless to home ownership kind of thing. Like I'm doing a thing with capitalism as the mythological beast that I'm dominating, or the, you know, the weird realm that I have to overcome or something, but it's not.
You just dominate that capitalism. You just get on that capitalism and just slap it and just say, hey, capitalism, you fucking hired me to come out here and do a job. Now you better fucking lay down.
Somebody called me, somebody told me I need to actually like get my business up and going because I am like an oppression dom is what they're saying. I help people consensually have some pretty painful experiences with truth. In some really effective ways. I've got 2 episodes in edits right now. I'm real excited about that are charged.
Oh yes. Yeah. What's it called? The what dom?
Oppression dom. Op dom.
Yeah. Oppression dom.
Right. Yep.
Boom. Yep. Look out! Here comes the oppression dom. Yo, that's how it is, man. I mean, honestly, like, you know, we're oppression doming the shit out of this motherfucker. You know, you got to call people out on their shit. We got to just come out and say what it is. Hey, and if it's rainbows and leotards, then we can call that out as well. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it is. That's the thing. One of my favorite things that I've been like really getting like comfortable with myself about is that I am always going to be the one to call out in community. Like anybody that thinks automatically, like they see me superficially and they're like, oh, you're one of mine. And then I start seeing fuckery in that kind of scene. That's where I'm going to deal with it. Any and all fuckery. And, you know, the closer it is to me, because I really do, there's some things about my religious upbringing that have remained. That whole thing about getting the log out of my own eye first makes sense. And then from there, I'm like, oh, my kin, we got to deal with the logs in your eyes because we need to see straight now before we start fucking with anybody else. So that's a lot of the work I've been doing lately too. I got ministry lately, just weird conversations going in ways that I'm like, that looks like something. There's a solid piece of material to build something with. Okay, put that over there, on to the next. Like, let's see what we get out of this.
Maybe you could build with the logs that were in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Just use those logs to build with.
Heavens to Betsy.
You know what I'm saying? Permaculture that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Repurposing. Everything should be valued. It's sacred stuff. Yeah. Nothing goes to waste.
You know what? Why is it? Do you get this experience ever that people who are like, you know what? I'm starting this community. It's going to be this dope permaculture, amazing community, and it's going to be awesome. And you're totally invited to live there. Why is it that those people are usually like never the people you want to be roommates with? You know what I'm saying? You're always like, dang, if it wasn't you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been my experience. I can't even tell you.
Yes.
I can't even tell you. You're like, huh.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm with you in theory, bro. It's like when someone just like, they come to you and they're just like, you're so sexy and beautiful. You're like, you're saying all the right things, but it's just, you're not the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because the pool of people who have access to land is limited to a certain type of trajectory from capitalism, I'd say. Is that fair? I'm not trying to drag anybody today. I'm having a good day. I'm like, what happens if I pussyfoot around the point a little? What happens if I
like people who, like the people that I've known who have gotten to that place, these are not people with money. These are people who go out to of course you have to have enough to get there, but to live out in the Sierras somewhere on you pay $40,000 for fucking
that's what I'm saying.
2
That's
acres
money.
And shit. Oh, I know. It's money to me too. Trust me. The man living at the deli hustling sandwiches to fools. Trust me, I know. But at the same time, it's like it ain't like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people, they live in their cars and they save their money, and then who knows what people do, man. People do all kinds of shit. People hustle, and people get ahead sometimes. But the thing is, it's like once you get there, it's like, what do people do? They want to grow some herb. They want to do some, have a spot. They want to have, but then it's like, okay, I got to build it. There's no road. There's no this. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, now I want people to come out there. I want community, but now we're far away from everyone else. And it's like, it's definitely
with no resources and lots of labor to divvy up between
exactly.
They're all getting to know each other real quick.
And everyone is trying to be the person going to town to get drinks. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, I'll go get some drinks. Oh, I can do that job.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, come on. Come on. Lift the load.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, honestly, I'm totally down for the community vision, but frankly, I've never gotten to that
hold on.
point in my life.
The problem's not whether or not you or I are down for the community vision. Clearly, based on the math we've just worked out, the problem is the community is not down with the community vision. They don't give a shit. They're like, whatever.
There ain't no community is what it is. We're just two fools talking on a microphone through a computer.
Yeah, I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God. This madness of this world.
It is. I tell you, being a disembodied voice on the internet has been the best phase of my life. The best. That's. Yeah.
I am Roy. Man, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Word.
So I'm trying to, when I'm not at the deli, I'm launching Alchemize.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Alchemize is my consumer packaged good, CPG, as I've learned. And it is a botanical elixir company. So when you want to imbibe some vibe from the plants, you get some Alchemize, right?
Ooh.
But our first thing is a chai. It's just the chai that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you had really good chai.
The chai is excellent.
Wait, your chai had a story to it, right?
The chai began in the forest, underneath, deep underground, until a friends joined hands and unearthed, one scoop at a time, the deep and dark, unparalleled adventure of aromatic spice, brewed directly to your cup. Great Shadowcast! Chai for all! Sorry.
That's precisely the story I recall.
That was the story.
That was it. Yeah, that was totally it.
Actually, the chai was made because we had a hustle where I was selling tea. I was doing always locally grown tea. That was my thing. And then someone was like, yo, will you do tea for this wedding? And I was like, oh, of course. And they're like, okay, perfect. It's an Indian wedding. And you're doing the chai. And I'm like, what? So Tiana, my wife at the time, no, my girlfriend at the time, who would later be my wife, she, like labored to make that recipe because I was off doing another gig that day. And, I was also, performing a lot at the time. And so she hustled and she really came up with the backbones of the chai. Like I gave her the ingredients and gave her the, the right nudge. But anyway, we did. And when I went to do the gig, I was like, we got to have an herbal one. And then we got to have like a regular one, because I don't like forcing caffeine on people. Like, who knows, you want to enjoy the chai, watching the wedding and like, you know what I'm saying? You might not want caffeine. Anyway, so I had the two and everyone had like 3 cups, honestly, for real. Like, so, from then that was like 10 years ago. And we've just been perfecting it. And now it's so good. It's kind of, it's this girl, I brought it to the deli where I work. And she was like, it tastes like arroz con leche, which for her was this like cinnamon drink, like from when she was a kid. But just being able to be associated with those like kid, like yummy thing memories and be doing it through a chai, which has no sugar. It's just full of beautiful, good herbs. And it's just like, it's a good chai. So anyway, we're launching chai at the beginning of March.
Cool.
Alchemize.
That's what's up.
Alchemization. Alchemy. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. You don't like... It's a shot in the dark to do a project like this. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm at negative a lot of money and living with my mom. So otherwise, I don't know what I would do.
We should talk about getting you startup funding because that's the shit I'm working on right now. And I tell you that I started my situation with a goal in mind, like a practical goal. I wanted to offer jobs to people and I wanted them to be compensated at a certain level. And I needed to figure out how I was going to support all of that. I'm working with a business coach, an executive coach that's phenomenal. I've got a personal assistant that's working with me remotely right now. But it's like, I'm just like getting my life aligned, being very like actively mindful about all of the little things and having everybody kind of focus in the same direction. But like essentially, as soon as I came up with the number, I'll say this: the first number with my drafted like budget was $504,000, and then from there I was like, okay, how am I going to get that going? And I started probing around at options, and like grant writing was a really cool option. I started probing around at maybe that and a grant writer with really fantastic like skills actively working in it, like pulling in money in a real job, like fell into my lap, very excited to support. So from there, it turned into a whole other thing because this person is like volunteering but willing to be full-time, has a family and needs to support them. So if that was going to be included, then the whole concept needed to change. Right. So that's all I'm going to say for now. That's all I'm comfortable with, like on the air talking about. You and I can talk more later about all of it. But I am like absolutely unstoppable as far as like what the game plan can be and making that happen. And the last, let's see, I want to say August or September, I started with like professional mentorship and like really getting focused. And it's been a like serious one step at a time with a lot of catastrophes knocking the plans to pieces. But it's solid now. Like it was like things had to get knocked to pieces because they were put together wrong and modular and they needed to be knocked apart so I could see it was all one puzzle, that they all go together in a certain type of way. and be more patient about where all the pieces fucking fit instead of trying to like just find some place to put this concept and move on with my life.
Because without fitting, there's no fucking. Without fucking, there's no fitting. So they have to fucking fit.
Yes. And if sexual magic and creative magic aren't like the same fucking thing, I don't know what's what.
Yo, I got to tell you, when it comes to that part of the universe, life has been blessing me with abundance.
That's great.
It's been so good.
Wait, the fucking or the creating?
Isn't that the same thing?
I mean, yeah.
I'm talking about libido and
that's what's up. That's what's up.
The fucking and frolicking in the fucking. It's been fucking good. And I'm really experimenting with just like not orgasming, like just like even just getting close, like over and over and over, and then just like going and doing my day. And we're talking about like magic bringing in, things. It's like the magic that is there. There's true magic there that is like such a gift to be a part of and to be able to cultivate. You know what I mean? I feel so bad. Like when I'm in these spaces, with my partner right now, because it's just the two of us in mom's house. When I'm in these spaces, it's very much like I just feel for like people in the world who really feel like it's like this orgasm and you're getting there and you're getting off and then you're moving on. And it's like truly there is so much gray area, and the gray area has like other kinds of areas that it's like, it's just such a blessing. It's honestly such a gift. And I really hope that like everyone in the world like really, really takes time to experiment and to feel and to stretch the edges of what is possible to feel in your body. Because like you want to talk about getting back to the earth and getting back to the roots and doing, projects that are going to help build community. I mean, to do that, it also means getting into your body and getting into sensation and chakras, and like all that shit is very real, and it's whatever way it's flowing is whatever way it's flowing. But I mean, truly, it's a lot more entertaining than fucking anything else I can think of.
I mean, well, so what's interesting is I've played around with like orgasm withholding. I've never been able to really fuck around. It just doesn't work. I can't do it. But like I'm in 2 days having my 4-year celibacy anniversary. However, like I have a rich and active sex life. I'm fine with orgasms happening. It's just peopling is disinteresting to me at this point. It's more interesting to me now than it's been in the past, but I'm still pretty trepidatious. And it's not like I'm like looking to throw celibacy to the wind. I'm more inclined to like amend my terms on it, my limitations on it and what they mean, and like employ opportunities for sex healing and sex magic kinds of things to happen with other people. They have to understand those terms though, which is a pretty that's an extraordinary thing to find in my life. It's just I have a difficult time finding people to even relate to at all, I think is what it is. And I don't join the club. I just like don't even want to be in the room with people like very often. Like I don't know. Isolation is weird for me because I was homeschooled growing up and spent a lot of time just in my room alone. Like just like excessive hours throughout the day unless there was church activities. I didn't want to be around I don't want to be around my family very often.
Me too.
Yeah. But yeah, not having school in the daytime to go to and just having like my room. 2020 has been weird. I'm having a lot of like, oh wow, this is like, I was like born for this. Like I fell into it. 2020 was a crazy thing. This year's been weirder because everybody else is starting to go back to normal, but I'm not. And So that's more like my childhood was. That's there's a pace outside unfamiliar to me.
Ooh, that's a great line. There's a pace outside unfamiliar to me. Writing exercise now. One thing I've been doing that's been good is like every day I write 3 pages. Usually I try to do it first thing in the morning, but I do it whenever I hit it, and I just write 3 pages. Just no judgment. I just write whatever the fucking fears are. I write whatever the fucking judgment, the criticism, the this, the that. I tear myself down in my head more than anybody in this universe, and like just giving that part of me voice. And giving that part of me, like, it's all right. You can go, and then, calling out other voices too that are much more, most of my voices are pretty benevolent, but it's like, just trying to give everything space, with those 3 pages and just, whatever it is, just write 3 pages, go. And, I find that's been helpful. It's been helpful for like, even just being able to communicate better, and like not feeling as stuck when I do sit down to do something that's more structured,
Right. When you say that most of your voices are benevolent, I have a question on that. Have your voices remained mostly consistent throughout your life in like the percentage of benevolent to, whatever other tones?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that as I get older, they continue to become, only, kind of more positive, and I get more of the ability to like not be in voice, and just like connect to like what the breath of the land is, and which is like, I am part of it. And just when I can connect to, when I have no voice in my head, then it's easier to connect to that. But when there are voices, it's like, like I said, like honestly more positive now, I feel like, than when I was younger, but generally pretty consistent. Like I've always had a very harsh critic. But, I'm also like kind of a kid that when I was young, I didn't have a lot of thoughts going on that I remember. When I was little, I don't remember a lot of that stuff. So, I don't know. But, I do remember a lot of like, I have a big critic, and I'm very, I convinced myself not only that I can't do something, but that even if I did that thing, it wouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And with both of those things going on, sometimes it gets to be difficult because it's like, it's hard to get the momentum. It's like, it's like part of me like hates me because it's like, yo, you can do so much better than this. You are doing shit. Like this is crap. And at the same time, when you do start doing something that's not really, it's not going anywhere. You're not doing anything with that. It doesn't matter. That's stupid too. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing is stupid. It's not worth your time. And at the same time, like whatever you do, you're not going to rock it. So that's the very, very critical voice. But, at the same time, it's like, not that I love, but the part of me that can criticize is powerful. Like the ability to tear things apart and to look at them is amazing. The ability to see many angles of things is a gift. It's really, it's the poison and the medicine at the same time kind of thing,
Yeah. 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 You've been a powerful inspiration to me as like an MC and a minister of community.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're a food witch, like a kitchen witch in a way that I will never amount to. You just get the science of it in a way. I just kind of like stand in awe. It's like watching a person in a lab or something. Like, can I sit while you're at work and like watch you work or whatever kind of thing? I can't do that one. I can cook a little bit, but I have my own potions, but your potions are like very very mature, very like advanced elder witch stuff. Like, yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And really, I don't know. Did I tell you the story of how I wandered into your open mic ever?
Talk to me.
I was going to kill myself. And I think I heard this. Yeah, I think I did tell you once. I had just written that song about I can be an asshole when I'm drunk, and I needed to play it. I was like, it's too good to go to the grave without having a community of something here. And I need it clapped at. And I went. And I was just like, oh, I need more applause. That was like a really good rush. And it just so happened you happen to have an open mic on Sunday nights, which was like the only open mic on a weekend day at all in Marin. And that was the day I was looking.
With the Sunday night when it was in San Rafael, or when there was the tea house thing in Fairfax?
It was in Fairfax.
Oh, you came to that one. Yeah. That was a special one, right?
It was. It was a really cool little scene. Yeah, a lot's changed in Marin. A lot's different now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it was a gift. It's always a gift to hear you perform, and you put so much heart and so much soul and so much of your scars out on stage, and that is such a gift. They say that the practice I try to do is like when I go into the forest, I try to put my hands on the earth and grieve. And whatever piece of me that has any grief, I just let that out just for a moment or whatever. Just be there with that, because they say that the earth literally can take in, and it's actually food for the earth to take in your grief. It's like that is nourishment for the land. Just like nitrogen or water is for a plant. It's like nourishment for the land. And I heard someone told me that recently, and I definitely, there's something about that, right? It's like when you're watching someone perform, you see someone, like, why is it that you go to the theater and if you cry, then it was a good show? You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's something about authentic feeling and thoughts and pain and emotion that is needed, that has to be experienced and shared,
We like to touch each other in the vagus nerve. That's like how somebody's got like wingspan or something, or there's some kind of a reverence that we have over people getting us there.
Bless it up.
Yeah.
Bless it up.
Word. Well, thank you for your time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Love talking to you. This is great.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And good to talk to you. And keep blessing it up. Just tell anybody if you want to hear me at blessitup.com. That's blessitup.com. And if you want to drink
website, that's great.
Yeah, it's blessitup.com.
Hell yeah.
Forever. It used to just be like my theater portfolio.
Oh,
now I'm just like, fuck it.
That's great.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to put the podcast on there and that's it. So podcast is there.
Good time.
And then Alchemize. We're going to start taking online orders at the end of this month. So I just got our first order from a friend yesterday. So alchemize.net, but it's Alchemize spelled with a Y. So alchemize with a Y.net. Yeah.
That's so
Get a freaking beautiful adaptogenic chai. Nom, nom, nom.
Wonderful. Wait, so when you had said earlier, have I heard Bless It Up? I thought you meant that you just say that all the time. You have a podcast called Bless It Up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk about it for a second. That's like...
Well, Bless It Up is the opportunity for a shamanistic chill lounge voyage into a tapestry of like rhyme and consciousness, which is flow state, 1 hour with like, or maybe like half an hour with like chill hop that's really like lucid lo-fi in the background. And it really, it's a gift from me to anybody who wants to hear it, that I put out once every couple weeks as just like a check-in, just to feel inspired, just to feel, this web of community around ideas, like what we've been talking about tonight, like taking care of the earth, knowing yourself, taking chances, getting to your edges, playing characters, whatever it is, like expressing, and, hopefully being a model and a vehicle for that. blessitup.com, yo. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Love it. Yeah, take care. You have a great night.
All right, Shift. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, it took us so long to get back in the studio. I'm gonna forget what the story was. I'm not actually, because it's a really fucked up story. So, I had one person after the Capitol who's a Democrat who was like raised in like religious fundamentalist kind of scenes and is now like a liberal, a progressive, I guess. I don't know what these words mean anymore. Okay, so she tells me that she thinks it's very funny that like the FBI are grabbing up people and that folks are getting turned in for posting video of themselves doing criminal things on the internet. And I said, okay, I understand this. I'm a little alarmed that there's like a lot of enhanced FBI activity because that will mean that there's going to be mistakes made. They're going to do raids on the wrong house sometime. So the statistical fuckery is going to be more, right? Like I just described that. And this person comes back to me with an absolute delusion and tells me, and I said that I was concerned about them going after like random anti-statists for whatever reason, random mystics, anyone that's on the normal like fascists don't like them list is going to be targeted to some degree, and there's going to be an amount of collateral damage I'm not happy with. So I'm not celebrating. That's all I'm saying. So she says to me, an overt delusion, and she says that she's aware that it's a partial delusion. She's aware of the amount of fuckery and that the FBI is renowned for. She tells me this almost like it's like a shame on us, but this is what we have to do to get things done kind of tone. This is all in a text too. So it's all very annoying communications happened over the end of last year, beginning of this year. My God, it's just all the same. It's one time. Like it just didn't. 2021 is not another year. It's just 2021. Like 2020 plus, and we have another 9 years of 2020ing. It's just the way it is.
I feel you. It's like we have an opportunity to, honestly, when it comes to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, that is, and freedom of being able to go into some fucking building, government building, and doing some damage, doing whatever you think has to be done. Frankly, like I want people to express themselves, even if it's at the cost, even if there is collateral damage and there's bad shit that goes down. The order, the way things are, the status quo is so deeply fucked up that anything that sheds some light at all or just pokes holes in the edifice of people remembering that this is a government that is run by other human beings, and to use your power, to use our power to take back the power is an important thing to do, and like,
don't our tax dollars pay for all those buildings and stuff? Like, I'm not sure where's the boundary of what's their property and not ours. Anyway, all of ours, any of ours. And what you're saying there, what you're describing makes me very anxious, but I have a ton of reverence for the concept of it. The idea of the FBI suddenly being like permitted essentially to be celebrated temporarily in a vacuum is so alarming. And it just, the way this person was talking, she says to me that she basically remembered a thing happening that never happened, where the FBI disappeared and killed members of BLM and Occupy. None of that happened, as far as I know. And I've been asking BLM and Occupy people, because I'm BLM and Occupy people. Like I babysat for somebody that went out to Ferguson first week. I was with her 16-month-old while she was out there for a week, missed her flight, was out there extra long. And I'm doing like video chats with dudes who just a few weeks after she got back were lit on fire in their cars and shot, kind of shit, like killed like that. But it wasn't the FBI that did it. It was the local white people. And as far as I know, nothing happened to them. So like shit happened, but it wasn't the FBI that did it. So like, and I was involved. So it was like, she's like poking a hole in my like PTSD for no reason. And she knows this stuff. Someone who knows me well enough to have brought up those two groups because she knows I'm involved in them, but is obtuse enough based on getting barraged with propaganda and like literally binge eating propaganda and then coming to me as a vomitorium and just kind of throwing up some stuff. And it's totally undigested and not really even it's not serving me a meal to digest myself. It's not meant for consumption. It's certainly not meant for my human consumption, my humane consumption personally. Quite the opposite, in fact. She came to me because I was the taste of the type of vomit coming up in her reminded her of me. And so there she comes to me. So
I thought that was your role. I thought that was what you were. I thought that was on your business card, wasn't it? Like,
it's funny you should say that because so many people do think that.
The what dom was it called? The
oppression dom. Oppression dom. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, see, the thing is I am in control with that role. It's me that's the boss. Vomiting on me is not on the menu.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
She must have been calling the wrong. That's a tough one.
She got the wrong one. You're right.
You know,
yeah.
That's a good hotline to start. The vomit, like all your feelings now with impunity.
Oh, that's a genius. Oh, shit. I should turn that into a podcast on its own. Yeah, just crank those
vomit
out.
Your emotions and your thoughts and all your binge media consumption, whatever it is, just be completely validated.
Yeah,
for half an hour. Do you need to be completely validated for all that you have done? And then she did this to me, and then she did this to me, and I can't believe if I tell you what she did this, and then you guys, and then you know what the real truth is. You know who the bad guys truly are.
There's a ton of money. I'm going to do this. I'm setting up a line. I'm setting up a phone line.
There it is.
It's a ton. It's valuable shit. People love the conflict. They love to hear it. They love to see it. They're like, it's because everyone's processing theirs all the time. And they're like trying to figure out what to do with it and looking at a little bit. They all find their different niche. But for the most part, almost everybody has a type of trauma, conflict, some kind of weirdness that they're into.
Yeah, we definitely all have it. We definitely all need ourselves validated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's the great mirror, and to know that anything flung out is really, also what you need to receive. And just that, in the moment, to know that in the moment about yourself is such a gift, so that when it's happening, it's like, you can really feel it, and when there's not that awareness, it can be really like what you're saying, like someone is vomiting on me. Someone is, covering me up, with something that isn't me, and that mirror needs to be there.
I am trying to be cautious of my consumption. And that's like media coming from packaged media, produced media, but then also like I've started to get really granular and even just people's sentences media, people talking in any instance.
Bless it up. Yeah, I think it's also like, I think spirit, is really functioning in a high level, and you and in a lot of us right now, so when we can tune into that, it's going to be very fine tuned. It's going to be like very discerning and, coming to try to understand the depth and what's really there, what really wants to be shared, And when it's not that, when that isn't what's being spoken, then there's a level of disappointment,
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
These are crazy times, and don't let people in the belly buttons.
We are going to have to figure this shit out because, it's a little weird for me to have my friends saying things that I'm like, that's Nazi shit. That's just Nazi shit. It's just in English and it's 2021. We can't do that. We got to chill. We got to chill. It's funny because it's coming out of people that are really into like history is going to repeat itself if we don't do exactly the thing that I'm going to do that's going to lead us into history repeating itself. Like, anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think we'll maybe get somewhere with it. I'm pretty intense about looking at myself, looking at everybody around me. I'm very willing to piss off my loved ones to be like, no, like you got to at least consider this thing. Like nobody's willing to be confrontational, but everybody's being confrontational. So let's be mindful about the confrontation a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pick those times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pick those moments. They're there to be had. You just set them up.
All right. Thank you.
Set up some moments. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Be well.
If you'd like to call in and comment, call 415-3434-420. You can leave us a message. I might play your shit on the air. I might call you back if you leave me a way to get back to you, or an email or something. You can also hit us up on the DMs. I guess you can put voice messages on there, but I think that my voicemail service is a little less creepy than social media collecting all of our audio. Anyway, Good Morning Mayberry is produced by Amass Studio LLC, AMASSTUDIO.com. If you want to get a hold of C, you can find him at blessedup.com, link down in the notes. If you'd like to become a patron on Patreon, you can join the Legion by going to patreon.com/goodmorningmayberry. Again, I put the link in the notes for you. And thank you for your time, for real. I know you don't have to be here listening to me. I don't know why you are, honestly. But if you like me, you can find me on Instagram. I'm the Luciferous Shift. Or you can follow the show, Good Morning Mayberry. If you want to tip me directly, you can be a patron and tip me. Those are not mutually exclusive options, just so you know. You can tip me on Venmo or Cash App. My handle is I am Shift. That's what's up. And always remember to never forget. Usually I snip some part of the episode from the middle and glue it on to the end here. But what I'm putting on this time is always remember to never forget to follow us everywhere and give us stars, all the stars, and review us and say great things, because there are haters going out of their way to do their worst. Thank you kindly. Love y'all.